All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Two Noobs, Two Boobs. I am so sorry about last week's episode. We had some scheduling differences. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely some scheduling differences.
call
But
it that.
if yeah, it's one way to call it, right? We got stood up. We're just gonna say it, Nicole. When you listen to this episode, we got stood up. Um, and then she had a family matter to deal with today. So we thought, you know what would be a great opportunity is to bring in the expert ghost hunter today and leave her out of it, right? So it's payback. So I know we've been talking about it, right? I've been teasing it, dropping little teasers in there, right? But we finally have our paranormal expert, Jim, right? And Jim, I'm gonna brutalize it. We've already pre-gamed it. Jim, I'm gonna brutalize your last name. Yeah. So Jim is part of the North Orange County Paranormal Society. He's been on episodes of Celebrity Ghost Hunt, and they do a lot of stuff. And you have some stuff coming up here soon too, right?
Yeah, we're trying to finish up a documentary in Yuma. We're due to go back. We were supposed to go back this month, but that kind of fell through, so now it's next month.
Nice.
So,
and I know we have been in talks for a little bit, and so you were talking about doing stuff like having like a paranormal podcast. I think that's kind of where this all started. I was like, oh, really? Like it'd be great to get you on here, right? So you want to talk about your the paranormal podcast?
Yeah, my brother's who's also in the group. There's three of us, three core members: me, my brother Sean, and then my friend Sam. And my brother's he's basically our technical guy. He's the one that comes up with the night vision cameras, the GoPros, converting them over so you can see, at night. The sound equipment, he develops and modifies all that stuff. So basically, he's our technical guy, and he just purchased a Bose, whatever it is, the podcast system.
Oh, nice.
So now he wants to start getting into that, and we're supposed to take that with us wherever we go, and we're doing a podcast before we go into a ghost hunt.
Nice.
That's the plan anyway.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So I know that I found you through the streaming, and we could talk about that as well. So I know that you are on kick.com as Sir Oak Tree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you are listening, make sure you all give him a follow. He puts a lot of previous ghost hunts on there. He has this awesome pop-up video thing that will it's so good, like where it's explaining what an EVP is, what all this stuff is. So make sure
need to work on that a little more.
I think it's great.
More to that.
Yeah, I think it is great. So you do a good job, and make sure you guys give them the follow over there on kick.com. Also, they're on their website. What is it? Is it Knops? Do we have that up? Do we have that website?
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. It's knops.us. I think that's what it is. NOPS.us. So you can go check it out and see what they're putting out great content, and with their expert brother who has all the audio and technical skills to give that stuff. They got 4K video. So so I've done some ghost hunting in my past, right? Very amateur. I guess that's kind of how everybody starts, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't like really being called expert because we're all still learning.
Yeah.
So it's not. Maybe it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Experience, maybe.
Experience. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah, because I know that when I did it, I was going with the very first time I went out, I went with my Canon EOS, super smart camera, and it was so hard to take pictures because it was trying to find focal points, and you're in the dark, right? So it's like you can't just point and shoot. So that was my first time doing it. I was like, yeah, I'm never using this camera again. So I just went to the.
Did you use flash?
So yes, I did use flash. Yeah.
And when you used the flash, did you capture a lot of orbs?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not an orb. I'm kind of curious about this because I've had my opinion on this podcast about orbs. What's your opinion on orbs?
I'm being sarcastic about the orbs, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's basically dust.
Yes. There you go.
Catching.
Yes, there you go.
My thinking is that your camera has a round lens, right?
Hmm.
We don't have a square lens; it's a round lens. And when you're dealing with like a point and shoot flash camera,
Yeah.
what it does is you got to think about it. Think of it as separate or a bunch of different planes in front of you, different
Hmm.
layers of planes, and depending on where that dust is, if it's too close or it's too far, it's outside the focal point of that camera. You're going to get a round, distorted image of that piece of dust
Yep.
out of focus, and it's always going to be round.
Yep.
If you had a square lens, that piece of dust would look square.
Yeah,
when
I'm
you took
just
that picture.
I'm not a big believer in orbs. Every time I see one, like dust or a bug
What?
or something,
I
you
can't
know.
I can't tell you how many times people bring their phone or their camera up. Ooh, it's scary.
love it, dude. I
We're
love
going. Hey,
it.
we're going into ghost stories. Put the music on. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, they come
Oh,
up,
yeah.
they bring it, or they show me their phone, or they show me their camera.
Mhm.
You know, the digitals, and on the back, oh my God, look at this, and I just don't have the heart to tell them that it's just a piece of dust,
Yeah,
Right.
and you didn't catch an orb,
yeah,
because usually an orb will have its own energy, and you would be
Yeah.
able to see it with your naked eye.
yeah.
Right. I
So-
wonder if you like if you use like one of those square lenses that they use for like filmmaking, and then you have like orbs in there, like that would be
Like a round
almost,
orb.
like,
Yeah,
irrefutable.
well, like they used to do back in the day, where they you had to stand still for like 10 minutes to get the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you get a lot of those images that are kind of they say they're ghosts, but it's probably somebody that moved. When they took that shot.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
So
like one is like snake orbs or something.
Yeah,
The
I
whole
went on.
ectoplasm and all that stuff. That is when you research that is just trippy as hell on how they did that.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff.
So I went on a ghost hunting tour in Hawaii, and it was drizzling outside. Like just a light mist rain. And
Yeah.
all these people are like, "Look, I got orbs." I'm trying to tell them, like I'm like, that's just the rain. You're catching the rain, And the tour guide was not having it. He was not happy that I was just ripping apart, his monetary value, like so.
Yeah, you're bursting his bubble.
Yeah, it was. I was like, bro, I'm like, these are all just raindrops. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to go on those tours. Like, I think just to get the historical, like, view, what happened in this area. But I think if you're going to go into ghost hunting, you just got to go into some empty place. It cannot have anything in there, and it's just you and the hunters, So, so what got you into ghost hunting?
Just the thrill of the unknown. Back in the day, me and my friend heard about these little tours, and we thought, oh, let's go check it out. And some of them had like a little radio or a little tape recorder,
Mhm.
and they started doing that stuff, and it was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And then that and the whole historical part of it.
Yeah.
We love history, so getting into locations that have, known or recorded hauntings and stuff like that, we kind of like to go in there. But yeah, it's just the whole idea of the unknown and running into things that you can't explain.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And the excitement part doesn't come too often.
Mm-hmm.
when you do a lot of these hunts. So a lot of times you're just standing around talking to yourself,
Yeah.
which is gets to be boring after a while. But we've been known to joke around when things start when things don't happen.
Mhm.
We start to have our own fun. So we're not really pro hunt, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're all very skeptical about what we do and what we catch. I mean, we'll just go through it and test it until we can't explain it. Then it's unexplained.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I know when I went, you know, it's like trying to explain to people, it's like 99% of the time you're not gonna, you know, like you might catch something when you're doing your evidence review, right? So, um, and like just to go, like I think that like when people are like, you know, they see these shows on TV, and you know they're accelerated to like a 30-minute episode, like try to explain to the audience how long it takes to review
Oh,
evidence.
believe me. When we did the celebrity ghost hunt,
Hmm.
we had to go set up. I think we had probably about 4 hours to set up, and that was back in the day when we had multiple cameras set up to one unit, that a DVR, so to speak. All
Hmm.
those cameras on all those channels coming in, we had to set all that up, make sure it works, and then hit the record. And then we had maybe a couple hours, 3 hours to do something, and then by that time they the robbers said, "Get out." So we had to take all our equipment down, and then we spent all night after that reviewing it.
So
We had to find something for
so
the next day.
so hold on. So just for those who haven't seen the episode, whose house were you going to? What celebrity was it?
It was I forgot his first name now. Roberts. I can't remember his name. Julia Roberts' brother.
Okay, right, and yeah, because I remember, yeah,
and his wife is just the nicest person ever.
uh-huh.
But he is a real asshole. He is
So
something else.
they gave you 3 hours,
Yeah.
and then so the producers of the show are like, you better find something.
Well, I mean, we told them before we even started. We said, "You get what you get. We're not going to fake anything." You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the way we are. If you don't like it, well, you're gonna have to fucking refilm someone else.
Yeah.
Sorry for cussing. out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. This show is.
We told him like it is. He said, "Hey, before we do this, we're gonna do what we do, and if we catch something, we catch something. If we don't, we're not gonna force it."
Yeah, and in that episode, you guys ended up catching something, right?
Oh yeah, it actually, and you can see in the episode, you see Chip Coffey pointing over in that direction, and he actually did that. So the psychic part of him,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is pretty cool. He kind of verified what we caught on the camera.
Yeah.
He pointed. He said he saw something down there. But other than that, if we didn't catch that orb, we wouldn't be on that episode.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It would have got shelved.
Yeah. So how did they come reach out to you? Get onto that episode.
Basically, the web page. They saw the web page. I think it's through Facebook.
Uh-huh.
We were on Facebook for a while, on YouTube for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, believe me, when they find out, all the different studios start calling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll start calling because for a while there, that was really hot.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, that was like the thing to watch, and every network wanted their own channel.
Yeah, I mean, because like my favorite one was Ghost Hunters, with the Taps group.
Yeah, they started out okay.
Yeah,
they started out, and then they went south real quick.
Yeah. So, but I think that their principles of like, when they started, and then when it became like how you described it as, like you only have this time period because we gotta get this episode, edited and doing all other stuff. So you better have action, right? So it became a.
Well, you know what else happens? You have the network themselves, the crew. Okay, maybe the ghost hunters or the main focus. Those people don't know, and they're told just go with it. And what the network will do and the crew will do will do their own thing.
Yeah,
and they'll throw stuff in there because they have to come up with something new every week.
Yeah,
they have to come up with something. There's a lot of pressure on that, and the same with Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. The same thing, except Ghost Hunter. When they really failed is when they did the live stuff.
Yeah.
that's when because everybody's watching
Hmm.
and you get caught doing shit and you're gonna get caught.
Yeah,
And
like
that really ruined their credibility.
yeah. The funny thing about when you mentioned Ghost Adventures is that guy just going in there and just screaming,
Yeah, just
yelling.
being an asshole to the
Sad.
spirits. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
man.
I mean, do you recommend that? Like,
No. If you saw the worst thing that I ever did was when we were in the kitchen.
yeah,
when
and
there
you're
was,
kicking the stove. Yeah,
That's probably the worst provoking I would ever do. You know, because we were told that if we went into that kitchen, this is in Yuma. If we went into that kitchen, you start touching things in there. That's when things happen because whatever's in there doesn't like you messing with this kitchen.
yeah. And it was wild too because you had the what is that thing where it's like a white noise but like the radio scrambler? What is that thing called?
We call it ITC, intertrans communication. And what it is, the theory is that you take a radio, and you know that part that scans.
Mhm.
When you push it, it scans to one channel, stops.
Yeah.
We disable that, so it just constantly scans over all the different channels in milliseconds. So the theory is if there's something there, they're able to channel through and be able to talk not on just one channel, but on multiple channels at the same time. So basically, what you're hearing is it's just looping through all those channels.
Yeah. So it's like Bumblebee.
And it's just like when that voice came through, we were like blown away.
Yeah.
It was clear in what he was saying. You know, don't or no.
Yeah, he's
or,
like stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was wild. So
was
would you
crazy.
say that that was probably the most active or like or the biggest interaction that you've had with that piece of equipment?
Well, you know what? Before that, ITC we were on the fence about because it was like, oh great, because a lot of the groups would use that, and they would show it, right, and then they would play it. They would ask a question, and then they would post a text right across the screen telling you what you just heard, when what you heard is already passed by, right?
Yeah.
It's gone. So now it kind of influences you to think, oh, maybe that's what it said. That we were kind of on the fence about that, but now, upon reviewing what we just got on the ITC session, we do put text now, but we put it right at the same time as it's coming out, and it's pretty blatant. You heard it. It's like,
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
really didn't have to do that, but for the longest time, we were on the fence about ITC.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting. What about you seen the technology that they use, the Xbox Connect with the dots?
Oh my God, dude. This is when ghost hunters get bored
Yeah.
and there's nothing happening, you want to create something.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing. You're thinking this is a computer that's trying to make kinetic bones,
Okay.
which is like a human frame.
Yeah.
So it's looking at in an area that it can't focus in on, and it starts to create those points, right? And then it gets those points, and then it says, okay, well, if they're all connected to these points, and these points move a little bit, then you get a little action type figure walking around or moving or dancing. That's basically all it is.
Yeah. Then you have like a little leprechaun flying in the air, like,
yeah, exactly.
There he is.
Or like on Ghost Adventures when they had those little figures dancing on top of the dresser.
Yeah.
Using that same system. We don't use that because of that reason.
Yeah. Now
you're trying to make something out of nothing. I mean, the thing is, everybody's trying to come up with this super sensitive equipment that you can't distinguish what's in front of you or what's around you, so it's making it up.
Yeah, or like a REM pod that's picking up a tractor like 2 miles away.
Oh yeah. Or a cellular signal. We caught coming through. We had a system made. My brother made this system where it was a kind of a 3D recording pod, and didn't know it at the time. and when we reviewed it, this thing was set in the center of a space,
Mhm.
and we were setting up, and we heard this cellular signal come from literally out, like if you were listening on your headphones, you'd hear it coming on your left, and then it would get closer, and then you hear it go right through and go right out the right.
That's
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
So
then
the
you'd see
cellular
all,
signal, it was like capturing that.
it was capturing some cellular signal just passing through
That
the
is
walls,
that is
and
wild.
it set off our REM pods and everything. We thought, oh, what the fuck was that? You know?
Yeah.
But then you go back and listen to it, you go, oh yeah, it's some kind of a cellular signal that's coming through, and it passed right through. You know, like a wave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's probably how the signals come out. We don't see them. If we
Yeah.
could see them, we probably would never go outside.
You'd be
I mean,
dodging it the whole time.
but
All
we're-
the
that's
Wrapped in
what we're doing.
foil.
We're just making really sensitive equipment
Mhm.
that we can't even explain what is setting it off.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I'm sure you try to have a controlled environment, but you still want your cameras. You still want like
yeah. Well, it's like,
electrical equipment. Everything can't be shielded. So like things that are like
well, you
hyper
want to
advanced
catch
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, if something happens, you want to catch it so you can look at it and go, "Oh, look at us! We're going viral." No, not just kidding, but just
Yeah.
to validate, you know. And a lot of times we're validating what we're feeling. Like we go in wearing shorts and t-shirts because the more skin you show, the more sensitive you are to the environment. With how we think, you get goosebumps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you can't create that. You can't create goosebumps. That's a natural thing. You can't force that. So if you get something like that, you're going, oh, there's something here that's doing that. Okay, if you have equipment that goes off at the same time, that kind of validates what you were feeling, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that does make sense because I mean, it is very sensory, and I know, like my very limited experience doing it. It was a lot of like when you get into a dark area, your eyeballs will start to like manifest,
Mhm.
images. So you have to be very careful about like what you think you saw, and you know, especially if you're recording, like audio, you don't want to be screaming like because now you could lose the chance to catch an EVP and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Exactly.
so let me ask you this: what would you say is the worst place as far as like when you got everything set up, besides the Roberts house, to like for a ghost hunt, right? So you got
You
everything.
mean yeah, as worse, are you talking about the most active or
No, like the opposite. Like the less the
dead?
like something that you saw on TV, and you're like, oh, we have to go there, because like maybe like the image in our backgrounds that we have, or like the prisons or whatever, and you go there and it's just like nothing. What would you say the worst place?
I can't really say because we usually don't go to the places that we see on TV.
Okay.
I mean, that we haven't. I mean, Queen Mary is one. We frequented the Queen Mary for quite a long time.
Damn.
Before they shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what was hyped up, and then it was like,
Yeah.
I guess any cemetery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to a cemetery, especially outside.
Mhm.
There's no way to distinguish wildlife or microwaves or cellular waves.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Bugs.
Energy or bugs too.
Yeah.
Anything that's I won't go into a forest or anything like that, knowing, because you got animals out there.
Yeah.
And that's gonna put you on your kind of a I don't know, clench your butt cheeks a little bit while you're out there, but I would never do that.
Yeah.
Same thing with the cemetery. I mean, cemetery is just it's kind of a cliche. Oh, it's got to be haunted. There's lots of dead bodies here,
Yeah. But like like ghosts are essentially energy, right? So your energy was left behind where you died at.
Well, no, ghost energy is free roaming.
Okay.
And would you be hanging out where you buried, where your body
No,
was?
no.
No, if you're out of your body, you're zoomed out. You're going anywhere you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe there was a place you loved to be at. You would probably hang out there for a little bit. So it's like there's really no designated place to be haunted. You know what I mean? They could be anywhere. And we used to get, when we used to do residential, which we no longer do, and there's a reason, because it's too many people watch TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
But ghosts are free roaming. They could be anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, they could be in a brand new establishment, brand new house, or like Joe's house is like 159 years old, and he doesn't have any ghosts in there, right?
I thought I had a ghost, but it was just my neighbor crying every night. So
Oh God.
a little different.
Wait a minute. What's your neighbor doing in your house?
Came through the wall, through my bedroom. I was like, "There's a ghost." I'm like, nope, just an old lady with
shit.
depression. That's all.
Oh my God. Jeez. Well, just wait until. Never mind.
Yeah. Wait until that day, and then if you still hear it, then that's
well. Okay, well, this is fresh because the neighbor on the other side just passed away, so she might be a ghost soon. Who knows? She might be in orientation right now.
Yeah, ghost orientation.
Could be.
All right.
Anybody? Come on out. Come down.
What about the other end of the spectrum where you go into a place and you're like, I will never go back in there again because it is too much. It's too much to deal with.
Trying to think now.
Like you mentioned, a butthole puckering.
There was a mental hospital, and I can't remember the name because it's gone now. It's completely converted into a condominium type
God,
thing.
Jesus.
Lucky.
Those poor tenants.
That scared the shit out of me because, are you guys aware of water hammer?
Mm-mm.
It's when you go into a location that has a bunch of pipes, and 10, 30, 40, 100 feet away, air gets in the pipes, in the water pipes. And what it'll do is it'll slam, and it waves all the way down through the pipes. And you could hear it. Sounds like somebody's hitting the pipes way down away from you. And it gets closer and closer and closer, and then it just goes right past you. That's water hammer. And this place had a lot of water hammer. That, and you weren't supposed to be in there. It was kind of, illegal. So you were sneaking in. So your senses were heightened at the time. So that would probably be the one place I probably wouldn't go back to, and I really can't because it's not the same now. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of evidence after the fact or no?
I would say it was more personal.
Oh, really?
Actually catching anything. You getting the goosebumps or the have you ever experienced electronic spider webs where it feels like it's a spider web, like spider web, and then you go to grab it and it's not there?
Yeah.
Because usually a spider web, you walk into it, you know it, and you pull it off, you can feel it with your fingers.
Yeah. I've had that a couple times. I just never heard it being called electronic spider webs. That's pretty.
We called it. Called it that.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Electronic spider webs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Definitely makes sense. But
one thing you should do when you go in any location, if you're allowed to, is to make sure the power's off. There's no power, and then go through with a K2 meter or an EMF meter, and just walk around and hold it and see where the main power is, where a lot of the power or a lot of man-made energy is in that location.
Yeah.
It'll peg on your K2 or your EMF detector, and just go through.
For the audience, what does EMF stand for?
Electromagnetic field. And AC will emit this electromagnetic field. So if you go near an outlet, you'll see it. It'll peg. So you kind of map out all the locations where there's power and where there isn't. And then what you do is you go into those places that do not have power, and then what you look for is little spikes in your device, and correlate it with maybe you got you got goosebumps or something, or you asked a question and all of a sudden it spiked and then went away. That's what you look for. You look for those little things. Recorders.
Yeah.
Take recorders in. I usually carry a recorder that records about a couple hertz below our normal hearing rate. And what I do is I wear those and I listen to it live. So when I walk into a location, if I hear something, I'll tag it, and then I know to go back and listen to that again to find out what that was, and then that kind of conducts and kind of points you in the direction, or will make you either leave or stay,
Yeah.
depending on the action.
Yeah. Now,
And
when
then
you
don't have to review it.
so what would you say is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Well, we're all in the group. We're all kind of specialized in our own little
Uh-huh.
thing, and mine is audio.
Okay.
I specialize in EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. That's basically your recording, and you go back and listen to it, or you listen to it live and you hear something. You will let everybody know, hey, I just heard this, right in this location. So let's all get in this location and start really drilling down and get some more devices in there.
Yeah.
And my brother, who's more of the eyes, which would be your night vision, video. Basically, he's documenting everything. So basically, he's our eyes, and then Sam is more the talker. He'll go in and he loves to talk, so he'll just talk and talk and talk. So basically, he's our I guess our bait.
Yeah, you're an agitator.
Yeah,
Coming out there like ghost adventures. Fight me!
Yeah, no, that guy Zach is such a joke.
Yeah, he's funny.
They don't like us, so we don't like them.
Well, I mean, they also are clowns.
Yeah,
they are clowns, and I think everybody just watches it to see like these ghosts just push them over.
Yeah, if it's on TV, it's on there for entertainment. It's not, unless it's a documentary. And though there are some documentaries that are entertaining, but for the most part, it's just entertainment, and they're just belting out episode after episode, and getting into these locations and jumping on the claims that were provided to them for that said location.
Yeah, I think people just get so caught up in what is reality and what is, like the reality TV is anything but reality. It's there for entertainment.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot better quality on, stuff on YouTube, and even YouTube has fake stuff, obviously. You actually find legitimate people that real work.
Well, let me ask you, what made you want to go ghost hunting?
So, I had some experiences when I was a kid. I mentioned it in a previous episodes. I had where I was in a house that I shouldn't have been in. Basically, behind my house, there was this old abandoned farmhouse. And then they had built their new house a little bit forward. So we broke into it because we were stupid kids. We didn't steal anything, but we just broke into it. And that night, they had all kinds of stuff in there. They had it was just basically their junk house. So that night I was sleeping on the couch in the living room, and the couch was just set up, like a standard living room. I had the love seat, the couch, and then in the corner was the recliner. I woke up and I saw this old dude in overalls sitting in my chair. Bald, looked dirty, looked like a farmer, right? Had gray hair. So when I looked and I saw this, I kind of just staring at him, and I just turned my head back to the back of the couch. It was summertime, so I was up. So back towards the couch, and I was so scared to turn back around because I didn't want him to be like, what are you doing in my house? You know, like if that was him, you know, like I didn't know what was going on. So I just forced myself to go to sleep. The next day I went to my friend's house and I'm telling him about it. And he kind of like just gets this dead face on him. And as I'm describing this individual, he cuts me off and describes the rest of him as he was sitting on his recliner too when he went to like the kitchen in the middle of the night. So we took it as a warning, right? At first I was like, is this a dream? It felt too weird, you know? And I took it as a warning, like, don't come into my house. Like, you're coming to my house, I'm gonna go to your house, right? So I've always been kind of interested into it. And then when, you know, like when Taps came out, I was like, you know, and when they first came out, you know, season 1, 2, 3, all that stuff, I was like, man, I like now I know, like they gave you like a nice foundation, like what to, you know, the basics, you know, like you know what this is matrixing, you know, this is where you see something and your eyeballs are formulating, you know, what you want it to see, you know, like all this stuff, right? So I was stationed in Japan at the time, and there was a campground behind the base housing, and that they used to do haunted hay rides back there during Halloween. And you know, they would say like, you know, oh, campers are here, and they would see this and all this other stuff, right? So I started doing research and history of the area, and that whole base housing, you can look it up, Ikego base housing, and Ikego for you listeners. That area was a prison camp for the Japanese before the Americans entered the war, right? So they were holding like Chinese and Filipino, anybody that was a prisoner, they would have them in that prisoner camp. And then there was 2 incinerators in that area. And then after the war, like in 1947, it turned into like depot, right? So the Americans had it and they were storing all the ammo there. Well, it exploded, right? They had a huge catastrophe there. So there's like unexpended ordnance that had been flung into the woods or the jungle of, you know, Japan, whatever you want to call it, the forest. So they had that happen. And then in that prefecture, it was a huge samurai battlefield. So I was like, man, this place has had a lot of death. Like there's a lot of shit that has happened in this area, you know? So I was like, I got my buddy and I was like, let's go back there. And we had some shit happen. Couldn't really explain it, couldn't recreate it, couldn't, you know, our doors shutting on us, you know, like I mean, it was wild. I mean, you know, like I've gone on a future episodes and I want to go into a whole, you know, my ghost story because it's about you, Jim. Right, but it was just having that and experiencing that is just it was, I learned a lot from Taps, and I'm not trying to, you know, I get it, they lost a lot of credibility and stuff, but what the information that they put out was good information. And then experiencing it was great. When I came back to America, I was looking for groups around Virginia, but my deployment schedule and everything was going on, I kind of fell off from it. But here's a real question for you, because when I was in there experiencing it, I had started having stuff happening in my house. Like they were following me home.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. What you do is what you should have done is before you left, state whatever's there. It was fun while we were here, but you don't follow me. You stay here.
Okay.
Do not follow me. That's the free will part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen to me. Something came home. It didn't bother me, but it bothered the family.
Yeah.
It was turning our ceiling fan on automatically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a remote because it was one of those chain driven.
Did you hear it click?
Down. I didn't hear it. It was like, you know, in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, woo, you hear it, but just full blast, you know?
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I always do that. I state that, you know, I'm here to, you know, check you out, you know, see what's going on. We'll have some fun. And then you stay here. You can't follow me.
Yeah.
I'll visit you. You don't visit me.
Yeah. Don't come home with me.
Yeah. And
Kind
you'll
of like
find
closing your
works
Ouija
every
board.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ouija board. Don't even start there.
Oh, really?
No, we don't mess with Ouija boards. No. There's some weird stuff going on with the Ouija board.
I
And
just,
with the
yeah.
Ouija board, you're giving whatever's there permission to interact deeply with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Basically
whether that-
possess your body.
Well, that's kind of what you're thinking because everybody's got their hands on the planchette, right?
Hmm.
And you don't realize that you're exerting a little pressure. You probably don't realize it, but you are. But what if whatever's there is manipulating you to move that thing around
yeah.
in unison? You know what I mean? So it's just one thing we don't mess with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess with.
I don't even understand how it's still sold. like I know like it's not a novelty item, like it's literally
No.
a key. It's a fucking key to your home, into your body, like
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. Like
into your soul.
yeah, like I don't why would you want to invite that, right? And
We
Well,
got
it's the same-
one.
Go ahead.
No, I was just to say we got one for my bar just to have sitting out. And like the first weekend we got it, it's brand new. Luckily, it was brand new. But some homeless dude came in and stole it. So like maybe that's a good thing. They want to get a
What?
vintage one. They want to get a vintage one from like pre 1950s to have sitting out. I'm like, that's a little weird.
Or you should have your bar table just painted like a Ouija board, like a big giant
Ooh.
Ouija board, and then nobody
Good
can steal
idea.
it. It's
Yeah.
just a conversational piece. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and your coaster could be the little paddle.
Yeah. Yeah. Your drink,
Yeah.
your scotch or whatever,
It's a genius.
It
It's
is
the same
genius.
thing with but
Write that
also
down.
when you go into a location and you have a recorder and you're asking questions, you're inviting them to interact with you.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to be clear when you leave that they stay there.
Conversation's
Don't
dead.
follow me home.
No pun intended.
It's null and void.
Yeah. It was crazy, and the things that were happening in my house were nothing like I was fearful, but it was definitely doors opening and shutting, and I swear I thought I saw like a shadow like run by, and I was like, thought it was like a family member like hiding, and I'm like what the fuck was that? And I didn't hear anything, and it was like, okay, like maybe I need to stop like doing that, because
were you by yourself?
yeah,
You'll end up mind fucking yourself there.
I don't
keep thinking about you creating your own problems.
Yeah,
actually.
I know I'm going out there, and experiencing that. There was only one moment where I felt like it's time to go. I could just it felt too close. And I've told the story before, but it ended up like we were like talking to each other. I was like, does it feel like circling us? And he was like, yeah. And I turned to my side, and it was just solid blackness. I was just like, oh god. I was like, all right, thank you. I was like, thank you, we're out. Like
I'm out.
Yeah, it's like this is too close to me. So yeah, but I would love to do it again. I know that like there's a lot of areas in my area in Virginia that are haunted. A lot of historical areas and
that have claims.
Yeah, claims to be haunted, right? But it is. I would love to go again. Have you ever gone, Joe, at all?
No.
Not even on a tour?
Not in a serious way. Like walk through like Penn State Penitentiary, but
yeah,
didn't have equipment or anything.
Oh, okay. You're just there to be.
Yeah, just vibing.
You're just there to be a conduit.
Actually, I was being booked, and
you're being booked. That was awesome. Yeah. So, so what future plans? I know you said you wanted to do. You're going to do the podcast here soon. And Uma, can you give us a little insight on what you are doing at Uma? Is it the same house, or is it what is drawing you to Uma?
What it is it's an old theater, and what's weird about this is that the upper, it's like if you go inside, it's like 2 stories. It's wide open, But on the third story, they built like it's like a house on top of the roof, and it had multiple rooms in it. And it was a what do you call it? I forget what they called it. It's like a rooming board where
Okay.
you would go and they would have rooms, and they would
Hostel?
Like a bed and
no,
breakfast?
we're talking older than that. It's
Oh.
like a oh, what is it? It's like they would rent rooms. So you'd
Okay.
each have a room, and then you'd have a central location, say a kitchen, which
Yeah.
you guys saw in that video.
Mhm.
That's where that is. Literally, if you look through the cracks in the floor, you can see the theater below, and if you go further out, it's part of what's next to it is a restaurant. So you would be looking right over the grills and everything when they're cooking their food.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so shit's falling through those cracks and going
Yeah.
down into the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Gross.
the people that own that theater now are Lutz, and they own the restaurant.
Mhm.
So they own that whole section there. But there's a lot of activity in that motel or whatever they call it. There's like a little when you go there, the theater's like on the left, and it's like that old traditional, the ticket windows in the
Yeah,
front,
yeah.
and then you go around. It's a small theater, but to the right of it is a little door, and you open that door, and there's stairs that goes all the way up to the top, and that's the motel. And they have not done anything to clean it up or fix it up.
So it's still in its original state?
Yeah, it's in its original state. We
Wow.
got to be careful when you're walking around on it because you can fall right through the floor. That's why there's a lot of B-roll that my brother did.
Mhm.
We went back there, and he did a lot of B-roll just because of how the place looks. The dirt. And,
Yeah, yeah.
And everything's just in shambles. But that's one location that we get a lot of activity.
Mhm.
We got the best. ITC was there. EVPs, we got a lot of good EVPs there. And that's where my brother chose to film the documentary.
Nice.
And this he's been doing this for about 3-4 years now. So we're trying to wind it up.
Yeah.
The problem is timing.
Mhm.
We all work, and it's hard to get off, for a week to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Is this
So
going to be
that's
your live kick experience? Or?
It is, but I plan on doing something before that time. It's just getting into the location, getting everybody together. We were planning on doing something last week, and then this huge storm hit us, and it was a massive. It just soaked us.
Oh yeah, you're out west, right?
Yeah, California.
Yeah.
We got hit with a big storm.
Yeah, I saw the videos. This is wild.
When it rains more than 3 days, it's a big storm.
Yeah.
So it kind of set us back. So that and work and all the other stuff that's getting in the way. But that's the plan. Plan is to go live on Kick, and to finish the documentary.
Awesome.
So we'll see.
Yeah. And so how often would you say that you would go, because I know it's your brothers and everybody's got families and lives and work and stuff, but how often would you say that you would go ghost hunting or doing an investigation?
Well, we used to do it like every week.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do it before the pandemic. We were doing it every week. The pandemic came, COVID just really fucked everything up.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants anybody in their house. Nobody wants anybody in their shop or their house or their company or their building, But we primarily hang out in Fullerton, which is in California, Fullerton, California. And a lot of the footage you see on the stream is also from Fullerton, where there's a theater.
Yeah.
Theater there that we get a lot of activity. There's a house there that's converted into a store, and that house is crazy. We get all kinds of shit there. So we plan on going back there again. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, we need to go. 2 noobs, 2 boobs, ghost hunt with knobs.
Yeah, we should. We should do a little collab.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing a road trip, like kind of because we're all me and Joe are internet friends. We met during COVID and streaming and all that other stuff, and then we've been talking about doing this for a while. And then his real life friend Nicole, she's the boobs of the operation, so she's they know each other, and then we've just been talking about doing something where we do a live all together naked and afraid stream.
yeah, exactly.
So
Naked and Afraid meets Ghost Hunter.
yeah. So we and then I know I want to get back into it. Now that I'm out of the Navy, so I can have a normal life and not have to worry about leaving at any given time. So why not mess my normal life up and add some paranormal life into it? You know what I mean?
It's all in fun.
Oh yeah,
it's all fun.
Yeah. It is exciting, like you said, and it's there's a lot of times where you're kind of
all I can say is go in with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't shut things down right away. Just go in there with an open mind and take it all in. You know what I mean? It could be and it might not be, and it can be explained or it might not be explained. Who knows?
Yeah. So let's ask one real quick. This has been great. We're almost an hour into this. I think we can do this all day.
Shit.
We've just been talking, right? So let's do this real quick, right? We're gonna ask one more question, right? For anybody this is a piece of advice that you would give to a brand new ghost hunter. Like, what is top 3 things you need to have? Just brand new.
Yeah. You need some kind of, I don't know if this available, is some kind of night vision type camera.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going into a location that's dark, okay? Because you don't want to, I can say, you could.
Gonna be bumping into shit.
You can investigate with light, but then that would mean there's power, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're during the day, but during the day you got a lot of the outside world that's doing their thing and contributing to all the noises and stuff. So a night vision type system, just a simple digital recorder.
Okay.
Something you can pause, rewind, and play back. So if you hear something, the other thing, headphones with that recorder.
Okay.
So you can hear it, because the big drawback to recording and then for hours on end is to go back and have to listen to that again to try to find something.
Yeah.
If you can find something right then and there, you can say, okay, pause it, play it back, stop it, and then start another recorded session, and only record in 15-minute segments.
Makes sense.
It's easy to go back, and you got these little chunks. Because when you take those files off of that and put it on your PC, on your computer, or whatever, you're gonna have little chunks.
Yeah, vice
files to listen
to. One big ass one that you gotta cipher through.
Yes. Yep.
And what would be the third?
Third would be something to detect EMF. Electromagnetic field. So you can go like the traditional back in the day ghost hunters, and you just get the stud finder K2 and use something like that. That's probably your cheapest route.
Okay.
But go with something that what we do is we go with a combo device, which usually has EMF and it'll have temperature. So it'll tell you'll be looking at the readout, you got your EMF, and then you have temperature, so you could tell if it drops. Because theory is when something is manifesting, it's gathering the energy in the environment around you. So it's kind of, it's sucking the energy. So you're going to have a spike in the EMF, and you're going to have a dip in your temperature.
Yeah.
So that's probably the 3 things: night vision, recorder with headphone, and an EMF.
Nice.
The basics.
All right.
If you want to go in there with what do you call it, dowsing rods, well, have at it.
Is that the little sticks? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe in those.
yeah.
I don't believe in those.
Like looking for water. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Well, again, thank you so much, Jim, for coming by and being our first guest on Two Noobs, Two Boobs. To all the viewers out there, please go follow him on Kick. He is Sir Oaktree. It's displayed right there on the screen. And also go check out their website. It is noobs.us. They have a lot of good information on there. And we're also looking forward to the new content that you're going to be putting out there in the theater in Yuma. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Again, Jim, thank you.
Thank you guys. It was very good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It didn't hurt very much.
Oh, okay. Next time we'll try harder. We got to get you back on here. Okay. So hopefully,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, we'll get you back on here. Hopefully, we'll get some updates on your content. We'll push it out. Joe, it's always a pleasure,
Or
buddy.
we'll fly out to California.
Yeah. There we go. Ooh, yeah. So,
California, or I come to Virginia. I don't
yeah.
know.
I'm down for it. So, again, thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to just leave them on the YouTube channel, the Two Noobs Two Boobs YouTube channel. Also, we are on Spotify, except for Apple. You know, my love for Apple. So check it out. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments below, and we will get those to Jim to answer any paranormal activity questions that you might have. All right, y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.